And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blank. And Tyler, as we record this, we are but 4 days away from Christmas morn. There's excitement in the air, and somehow not Christmas in the air. It doesn't feel like Christmas around here. And maybe it's because yesterday I had to roll up my sleeves because I was sweating. What a problem to have. How you doing today?
What a problem indeed. Merry Christmas, brother. I'm well. I'm doing very well. I'm excited for this episode. How are you?
I'm so good. I am. I'm ready to go enjoy the outdoors, and I probably won't actually go outside one time today. Maybe tonight. Maybe I have a fire. I've been wanting to have a fire for so long, sitting around, hanging out with Freya and Jess, and maybe we'll throw some hot dogs out there and maybe some marshmallows. Probably not marshmallows, but definitely just sitting around the fire. I miss that. This is that time of year where I get to like really reflect on the year that was and what we have to look forward to, or in my case, worry about a little bit. Glad to see a picture today of the stage floor getting started. And it's going to be a long process, I think, but I'm excited to have a new floor and new beginnings. And Christmas is always a good time for that. Plus, we got pro wrestling. We got Fate coming up. We do. Yes. Stranger Things coming up this week on Christmas Day. We have so much to look forward to and be excited about.
Yeah. So many blessings on the podcast. So many blessings just in general. I'm excited for this edition of GI. As you said, Brad, we're going to be previewing and predicting AEW Worlds End. I have some WWE storyline pivot ideas I want to run your way. I'm quite sure you have a WWE related question for me. We'll get into that. Pop culture news. We're going to discuss a recent Stranger Things teaser that was dropped. We're going to promote next week's episode, which will be Stranger Things focused. There is a feeling of being overwhelmed with blessings on my end. It's winter break time as well, Brad. We're free of required work responsibilities for 2 weeks. I don't know about you, but I'm riding high.
Yeah, it was really nice. We had our staff luncheon yesterday. It was Chick-fil-A, and it was a spicy chicken sandwich, and it was delicious. I'm not going to lie. It was not a spicy deluxe, but it was delicious nonetheless. It is a little weird getting the sandwich when it's like bread, chicken, stop. It's a little weird versus like the lettuce, tomato, the cheese, all that stuff. But it was great. It was definitely an upgrade over years past. No shade to Jason's Deli, but it was time for a change, and I was really glad for it. PTO really took care of us. There were some raffles, and it wasn't Office Depot gift cards, so it was much appreciated by the staff that have been there a while, to not get coops for things we need for a classroom, and then to be told you got like a day to spend it. So I'm thankful for that not happening, and we didn't get the breakfast burritos that were actually Sonoran dogs. So all really great way to go out. We had a Secret Santa. It was awesome. I got some gifts, but I know people have big feelings about the staff luncheons. People have big feelings about the office Christmas parties. And I think that merits a live event, Jones. So let's play the music. Tyler, this is your idea, and you have a story. I have not heard anything about this, and I'm ready for it. So hit me up.
Yeah. So Christmas, I've been thinking a lot about this over the last week or two. Christmas is really the signature holiday in America, in particular, and like you said, this merits or this necessitates the office or the school Christmas party, Christmas luncheon, whatever you want to call it. So, Brad, I am new to a school this year, and I have heard tales of the winter luncheon now for weeks, if not months, and how glorious it is. So it's held in the practice gym. This was the first of our 2 half days. On Wednesday, periods 1, 2, and 3, half day Jones, start the day at 8 and the day at noon with kids. And then the following day, Thursday, periods 4 or 5, depending on which lunch you have, 6 and 7. For a 6-7 reference on the podcast. Very, very proud of myself there.
I'm holding my hands.
You can't escape it. It's like Vecna. It's right? You can't escape it. Just learn to accept, if not love it. Anyway, all that probably unnecessary exposition aside, 2 half days, and then we are officially on winter break. No school on Friday for Glendale Union High School District. So that Wednesday, the first half day, on our calendar, it's been slotted 12:30 winter staff luncheon, and this is held by the VPC, the Viking Parent Club. I've heard great things about this. I've heard it's extravagant. I heard
That's
prizes
funny.
are given, multiple prizes, and I'm ready. So a few of us head to the practice gym together, and there are retirees there, certainly parents,
Wow.
all staff, right? Not just teachers. There's custodial staff, maintenance
Same
staff,
for us,
aides, as it should, 100%. Everybody who makes this place function, they're there. We're greeted with a gift bag, which has a gift card. I open mine. It's a little small Christmas sack, gift cards in there, $25, Jersey Mike's, just for existing. I don't have to win anything, just right off the bat. That is your welcome to the party. Perfect. And then we get summoned to this table with at least 12 different raffle prizes, these very extravagant, huge baskets. And they're all themed, Brad. There's one that's Night at the Movies. Another one is That's Amore, which has pasta and wine and other things. I end up putting my raffle ticket in the Just Relaxing bag or basket. And you can see how many raffle tickets are in the little box. So it's a game where it's a balance between what is a prize that I want, but also what is one that does not have a lot of raffle tickets to increase my chances of winning. So we eventually start eating. We hear words from our principal, who's wonderful. And by the time the raffle occurs, mine is last. The Just Relaxing one, it's at the very last. It's 12 out of 12. And I've made it clear to my table that this is the one that I've put my raffle ticket in. I need this W right here. So I walk in like a boss, I'm going to win this thing. And then 2 of our assistant principals, Mr. Matson and Mr. Erie, finally get to that Just Relaxing prize, that basket. They pull the name and they say, Tyler McDowell, you have won this basket. And Brad, the pop from the crowd, I don't think I'm envisioning this. I think this actually happened. The pop from the crowd was wonderful. Enough people know me now where it's not like, oh, who is that? Like, I think I've been able to just build some relationships where people know me and hopefully think positively of me. So anyway, the table was proud of me. I get up, I get the basket. And when I tell you, this thing was like half the size of me, which is probably not saying much, but it was just massive. It was heavier than expected, but there's a blanket in there. There's a Barnes & Noble gift card. There's a Changing Hands bookstore gift card. There's wine. It really was spectacular. And this was one of the best staff luncheons that I've ever attended. And I walked away with the prizes, Brad. I'm excited for 2026. This is a good way to go out.
Incredible. I think the spoiler here was that the wine was in the basket after the kids left for the day on site. I think that was really what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a key part of this story for the timeline for sure. Yeah. Kids were gone by 12. Lunch started at 12:30. Yep.
Red or white?
White.
Okay. I was going to give you some sauce recipes for you, but here we are. Listen, man, that sounds amazing. We had raffles as well. And every time there's a raffle, I don't know how you felt. Well, I know how you felt. You triumphantly went and got that big basket and took that home, as you should have.
Sure did. Like a boss. Yep. Every
time they give away gift cards or something like that, I'm like, give it to the support staff. Let the support staff have it. I know what they make. I know what I make.
Unsung heroes.
Yeah, see, maintenance crews in the back. We got all these aides and secretaries and all these folks that are, they're there day to day and they're dealing with some of the worst stuff on campus or the most challenging stuff or the most monotonous stuff, depending on what your job is. And they're not getting paid what I'm getting paid. Not like I'm rolling around in my stacks of cash or anything, but I always feel a little guilty going like, yeah, it's $10 Starbucks gift cards for me. And you can go kick rocks. I'm going to go enjoy this overpriced coffee and you're going to just watch me enjoy it, I guess. Cheers to you, friends. Cheers to you. But I always think it's cool that everybody's involved. So that's the best part, I think, is getting to see the support staff and the certified staff all hanging out in a room together and celebrating the campus community more than just, the teachers in the classrooms. Because I think we get all the credit, even when there's not a lot of credit. And I think that underserves a lot of the people that make the place run. We run the classroom, but we don't run the place, and the place gets run by everybody else. It's a giant team effort, and I think it's important to recognize that. I think those luncheons, even though half the time I'm like, just get me out of here, I don't want to be here, especially on a Friday when all I have to do is post my grades and shut down my room. And I've done all that. I'm like, just let me go. It sometimes forces me to go like, no, you know what? Let me pull back for a second and go, no, I get to hang out with my colleagues and celebrate that we made it through a semester successfully, that we did A+ school rating. We did all this righteous stuff this year so far, and we're not done. And this is my team. I'm just a part of the team. And I think that's pretty dope. I can't say everything is dope in the world right now, but I know a few things, and I know what the dopest 2 words in GI are. Well said by me, and that's
Steph Watch.
Speaking of recognizing very special individuals, we have a tradition of doing so on this podcast. We are going to recognize our women's world champ, the week that was in the world of Stephanie Vaquer. Brad, we teased it last week. Stephanie Vaquer took on Raquel Rodriguez on WWE's Monday Night Raw. Now, this ended in a disqualification victory for La Primera after Nikki Bella attacked both competitors. So last week, our Steph Watch was entitled Life After Nikki. And Nikki pulled up and said, yo, psych, don't play with me, gimmick infringement. I am not gone yet. And I actually have a prediction or a theory about this. In fact, I'm thinking, and I'm going to kick it to you in just a moment, this could lead to maybe a 3-way dance, triple threat city at Royal Rumble. We'll wait until then. Maybe this is going to be featured on the January 6th Monday Night Raw if it's not already been announced. I still believe, with all my conviction, that the match is Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer. However, especially with Nikki Bella being back in the picture and channeling her inner Kill Bill, she killed it with the fit. I really think Nikki wins the title, Brad, before we can even get to a Rhea versus Stephanie program for the Women's World Championship. What say you?
I hope it happens on January 6th for reasons, but I think it's going into the Rumble. I'd rather see Stephanie winning the Rumble. I mean, I'd rather see that, right? Like, I'd rather see her get through everybody and win it and get that title chance back.
Yeah.
To then, I felt like her build to the title was kind of meh. Her having the title has been, she's a really good champion with some garbage ass storylines. And I think that's the part that's like, she needs a story. So if we're going to get the story of her getting to Mania to finally win the title, to win it back, it starts with her winning the Royal Rumble. Now, do I think that'll happen? I don't know.
What happens in Riyadh stays in Riyadh.
Yeah. Well, I think the other layer to this too is, to your point, it just feels like whenever there's some kind of interference, it becomes a triple threat. And if it's a triple threat, then it's Nikki winning in the triple threat by pinning whoever isn't Stephanie.
Pins Raquel. Stephanie doesn't get pinned. That's how I foresee it. I don't know that you bring Nikki Bella back and you do this repackaging. And I'm sure the merch is just flying off the shelves at the WWE shop warehouse for her. I mean, she's incredibly popular, 10+ million followers on Instagram and such. She's a Hall of Famer for a reason. Yeah. I don't know that you bring her back at this point to not have her win the title at some point during this run. I think I misspoke. Maybe. We're back with kids on January 6th, which is a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think Raw it has to be on January 5th. That's my apologies. Even just saying January 6th out loud still doesn't feel.
That's why I said for reasons. January 6th is the next meeting for the Marana Council, where they're going to vote on whether or not to approve the data center. They moved forward with the vote to go, yeah, we want to do this. We're going to approve it. Despite hundreds of people showing up to protest the data center being built in Marana when we're already in a strain of, water and power to begin with. And now we're just going to siphon it all off for a data center. Is crazy. I know it'll provide some jobs, but at some point you got to weigh the cost benefit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know that's on January 6th, so that's on my own, but also par for the course with that date. I think that the triple threat could also go another way. Raquel's never won the title, right? Which seems absurd to say out loud. I can also see her being the one to pin Nikki. So that protects Stephanie, because Nikki's a Hall of Famer, which she got to lose. And Stephanie is not, but like Stephanie losing and then not being pinned to lose would make a lot of sense. I'm afraid that it'll be Stephanie losing because Raquel pins Nikki, and then the feud will be with somebody from outside the ring that grabbed Stephanie's leg or beat her up outside the ring, and now she's fighting that person instead of going after the title again. I could absolutely see that happen, up to the point where she goes into the Rumble and says, I'm going to go back and I'm going to get my revenge and I'm going to burn through everybody I have to get there. I'd be here for that. We'll see what happens. Who's the other champ right now? Women's champ.
Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill, is she a heel or a baby face or or is she just a Jade?
She's a heel. Is she not?
She's a heel, right?
She sure is.
Stephanie retaining would mean we still have a baby face.
Mm-hmm.
Either of the other two women winning means we got two heel women's champions at the same time. I don't see Jade dropping anytime soon. And that's going to be a run that goes for a while. At least till WrestleMania.
Yeah, maybe that's when we get Jade Bianca at WrestleMania. I'm just wondering what is the match for Stephanie at WrestleMania. I shared my grumblings that she's not featured in the commercial for WrestleMania. I don't want to read into it too much, but it's probably too late for that. I just feel like that's a sign that she's not going to have the signature debut title program at the biggest show of the year that we would want her to. I'm really worried that she's not involved in the title picture come Mania.
Contenders ladder match.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer is right there.
Yeah,
it's right there. And I'm okay if Steph loses at Mania, but I want her, like you said, to have something meaningful from now until then. I just think the meaningful moment that I don't want is going to be her losing maybe as soon as Jan 5.
Yeah, Stephanie Rhea, Stephanie Charlotte would be fun. There's a lot of people that match could be. A Stephanie versus Charlotte Flair would be a great WrestleMania match. I don't even need a title on the line. I think that would be great as a babyface Stephanie versus a heel Charlotte, but I don't know. This tag thing's been going pretty well. So
it has. Babyface Charlotte has been.
She's been great. And I think it needed her being paired with Bliss in order for us to go like, oh, we get it. But before we even start talking about this, since we're already into the storyline aspect here, Tyler, hit me with your question.
Yeah. So this is kind of a different question, if you will. I was thinking of our conversation on air, off air. We had the great Mike Steph on last week. And I think the three of us are in alignment that WWE creative right now is not fulfilling us in the way that we want to end the calendar year. So I have at least three storyline pivots that I want to workshop with you and hear your thoughts on. And ideally, hopefully there's at least one that you are supporting and that you could see actually happening as we turn the page on a new year. Three options. A, Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan get jumped out of the Judgment Day on January 5th, leading to a progressive babyface turn. In my notes, Brad, I wrote, it's time. We don't want it to be a retread of Edge getting jumped out of the group and nothing changing about his character. He is simply just a babyface now because the other dastardly people in his group beat him up and we don't like nefarious violence. So Dom, to me, the arc is going to be him turning into a good guy. Fans are already cheering him as he channels his inner Eddie Guerrero. And then we know how successful Liv Morgan was as a babyface. So that's option number one for storyline pivot. Option B, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. This is actually my favorite. I'm beaming saying this out loud. Shout out to our YouTube viewers. Ford and Dawkins jump Logan Paul and Austin Theory out of the Vision. Sorry.
Be here. Montez Ford, the most underrated wrestler of the year.
Indeed. He was
Sports
not the guy behind the mask.
I can't remember who
Austin
it was.
Theory. Yeah, there's Self-Made. Sports Illustrated was
Self-Made. It was that. Yeah.
So I just really wanted to pop myself on this episode. That's option B. And then finally, option C. I actually have two more. Option C, Stephanie Vaquer, aforementioned women's world champ, remains champ at the start of the new year. And then we get the Rhea match, ideally at Mania Night 1 or Night 2. Option D, my final one that I want to kick it to you, a Cody Rhodes heel turn. CM Punk is the champ on Mondays. He is a babyface. We still like him very much. I think he's going to beat Braun Breaker on that January 5th Raw. Is it time? How can we spice things up and creative right now in WWE? Is it time to turn Cody Rhodes into a bad guy? What say you about these storyline pivots?
The Ford one popped me. The Man, that last one's tough. So I would for me, if I were booking, yeah, it says it's time to turn him. Let's turn him all the way around. Um, I want a imagine what that would do for Drew McIntyre,
It
right?
would
It'd be like
give him a lot
Drew
of
was right.
affirmation.
Drew was right.
was right. Kevin
And
Owens
now
was
we could
right.
pivot
Drew
into
was right.
there. Yeah.
And
So
it seems like we're leaning into Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes in April, likely
Yeah.
the night 2 main event.
right.
Roman cheered as a good guy. I think that could make a lot of sense. If not saying we need heel versus babyface to main event Mania, but if he's going to fight Roman and Roman is going to be the fan favorite,
Yeah,
please
and
go.
then he doesn't, and Cody doesn't lose. I want Cody to cheat to win.
Oh, yeah. And then
That's where the
wins the
turn
rubber
could
match.
be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Black hair, Cody, jet black, or are we sticking with the blonde? Is the black too on the nose?
I think the black is too on the nose, but
I think so too.
I
It's
think it
giving
would be
Vampire Diaries.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's giving old age and lying to yourself is what it's giving.
Well, I saw your tweet about this is what inspired my question. Actually, I saw your tweet about not Drew McIntyre, Aleister Black and Damian Priest to open up SmackDown. We love all the ingredients. We certainly love Zelina Vega, but you are of the mindset we're running this back again.
It's booty. Like all of it is like they're just out of ideas. They just keep going like, oh, you know what's good? Long feuds. People have been wanting long feuds. It's like, yeah, we want long feuds. We do. We want to have people run it back, but not the same feud over and over again. It's different. Having a long feud where the story progresses from one thing to another is great. Do that. I would love that. They're not doing that. They're just having rematches and rehashing old crap and doing the same things the same way over and over again. That's really what the problem is. It's like, you know what would be great? Remember when he did this? Let's do that again. That worked really well. And it's like, well, yeah, for that one time, it worked really well. Like, I love pizza. I don't want to have pizza every night. Like, stop giving me pizza at some point. Like, stop it.
I'm trying to figure out who that was an impression of. Was that a Paul Levesque?
I think
Ed Orgeron? Who?
I think I was merging Paul Levesque with Michael Hayes, maybe. I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
I just wanted to go like this in the back. I made him a smoker.
I'm just checking.
I'm out east, still living on the East Coast and smoking Virginia Slim 120s.
It's giving
like I don't know,
a little Tony D'Angelo, but old Tony, new Tony.
Brad P.S. I was channeling an East Coast older white woman with emphysema is what I was doing there.
Okay.
It was very close to I'm watching you, Wazowski, is what that was.
I'm glad we cleared that up. I'm sure the audience was wondering this as well. I just got to ask the hard-hitting question.
Yeah, I don't know. I just okay, to the letters A through Z or whatever you had there. You gave me too many options. I couldn't keep track. I got the Street Profits.
A through D. I got you A through D.
Okay, Cody. Yeah. I talked about that one. Aleister Black and Damian Priest, just out of ideas, give them something else to do. Have Aleister Black and Cody have anybody, and I don't know, just switch it up. I don't understand the rules between contracts with SmackDown and Netflix, so I just referred to Raw as Netflix. I have no idea who's allowed to go where and what is happening, so they're kind of locked into their parts. And then they're like, well, we don't want to give it to this part because that part's not big enough right now with the audience. The only way to get them big enough with the audience is to put them on the TV. So I don't really understand what they're doing. And everybody will go, when we get down to Mania, they go like, you see, they had a plan all along. They never have a plan all along. They have an idea for some of the matches at Mania, but then they're like, oh, we got to change it. Everything they've done with The Rock in the past 4 years has been hot garbage, and it's been Pivot City the entire time. People will pop for The Rock's entrance, and then we'll all go, all right, what stupid thing is going to happen now that changes the entirety of the landscape of storyline telling, and then nothing happens because of it. I have no faith in them. I'm bored, and it sucks because look at the talent. This is all on creative. All of it. Every bit of it is on creative. It's not about the characters on the TV. It's not about the wrestlers performing in the ring. It's that creative keeps giving the same. Good Lord. Speaking of being out of ideas, this cough gimmick. Creative is just running out of ideas, I think. And I don't blame them. Like, I imagine doing weekly television for 2 products plus PLEs is difficult. 3 if you count NXT. I got nothing, man. I'm so tired of it. I think that I don't want to watch anymore. I certainly don't want to pay for anything. And I get Netflix for other reasons, and I'm glad it's there so I can watch it. I did not watch Jake Paul get his face broken. I caught that on the timeline. But it was nice to see a Paul get injured on Netflix.
I gave in and I watched it.
I had it on for 5 seconds because it was there. I hit A by accident on my Xbox.
I wasn't sure I was good. That's hilarious. I wasn't sure I was going to confess it to you. This is the first Jake Paul Netflix experience that I've tuned in for. And I mean, it's the same formula every time. It's the same conversation we had when he had that exhibition, if that's what we'll call it, against Mike Tyson, where it's just a joke. It's just
that punch that knocked him out, that broke his jaw, was the same punch that Mike didn't throw. Like he went like this and then held back on it. And that's when everybody was like, all right, so this is just a bunch of BS. Because Tyson actually could have just killed him right there, knocked him out with that one punch, and it would have been done. Right. But instead, he let himself get winded, and then it was just survive for several rounds.
And that's exactly what ended up happening, ironically, to Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. And he said as much in the post-fight interview led by Helwani. Jake Paul said, yeah, I just got gassed, and you know, my jaw's broken. He said, as he was saying to go to the ring, I'm pretty sure my jaw's
like
broken.
the whole purple side of his face.
But at the same time, these guys made millions off of this fight. I'm sure it did a great number for Netflix. And here we are where in a year or however long Jake Paul needs to recover, he'll come back. We'll see the ads on social. He'll fight Nate Diaz, or, you know, name the opponent who can draw eyeballs, and he'll continue to have a fragrance line at Walmart and be a household name.
I think that's the part with him, though, that with TKO Sports, the deal with Netflix, the raw Netflix Paul situation, all of that stuff. Plus, you know, Logan and Jake Paul referring to there. I think that there's so much like overlap now, which has always been the goal for WWE, including when Vince was starting it out. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the Rock and Wrestling Connection to talk about at any point. Is they're trying to bridge these gaps, but by doing so, you get better storylines going into a Jake Paul fight than you do on Raw or SmackDown or heading into a PLE. And all they have to do is to flip the crowd, is to cram together a video package that makes it look like it was intentional the entire time.
Right. I'll never forget the package for Bianca Belair versus,
oh my gosh,
the artist formerly known as Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
And now the video package made it seem like, oh, this was a great ride to get here. But
yeah, it was terrible.
All of us who had been following the weeks and weeks heading into Mania thought, this is not how it went down at all. Before we leave the Jake Paul fight, did you see his entrance on Friday night?
I did not.
He wore Hulk Hogan colors.
Oh, I did hear that he did Hulk Hogan colors.
The same font, right? The yellow sunglasses. Yeah, the red and yellow. He even went so far as to play Real American. And there was this light show of the American flag. And then Real American transitions into a live performance from infamous rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine, who I thought was locked up somewhere. I didn't even realize he's free. So the level of it's funny you use this word in our pre-show meeting. Shout out to the production team here at GI. The level of trolling that Jake Paul was doing, even during the entrance. You have the Hulk Hogan gear, you have the song. Tekashi 6ix9ine comes out and he's just in his Tekashi 6ix9ine. I was gonna say glory, but there's got to be a different word I can use. It's just weird, man. It continues to feel
felony, maybe.
Certainly, very Black Mirror, and I don't know what I watch, and I kind of regret spending an hour of my life doing so. But a lot of women in my life have discovered Anthony Joshua now, and they seem quite excited about that. So I'm happy for them.
I mean, yeah, he's a treat for the eyes. But it was hearing that it came out as Hulk Hogan, dressed like Hulk Hogan to Hogan's theme.
Diabolical.
I went,
yes.
The jaw getting broken, glad. And
by Anthony Joshua. Made it.
And I'm glad it was Anthony Joshua.
Yes.
And that's all I really. It's the what is the Royal Rumble video that circulates every once in a while from like 2K22 or something of Hulk Hogan getting jumped in the ring by everybody. That's right. It was the real life live version of that, and that makes me happy. Tyler,
the internet does produce some quality content every once in a while.
Truly. So this week, Cena sat down with Cody Rhodes and talked about the farewell tour or the final match, the goodbye in the ring, the smile, and then the going to sleep. Listen, it sounds really nice, and the story makes sense. And I think the tapping out, the never giving up, the smile, being at peace, him comparing it to the death of a person, real weird. But on paper, it is symbolic and beautiful and probably good writing, the way that it all came to fruition. It's just that nobody wanted it. So Gunther was booed heavily, though. I don't know how much of it, if any, was piped in, but he was really heavily booed when he spoke on Raw. And then spoilers. So you've been warned, audience, are already out. I didn't know that they were spoilers. I thought it was SmackDown clips, but it was just people taking video of people winning championships or losing them, depending on who you are. And I think that's the hardest part about pre-taping shows. Spoilers are always coming in. Carmelo beating, spoilers again, Carmelo beat Dragunov, will finally hold gold. Currently does have gold, but it hasn't happened yet, which is a weird sentence. Austin Theory definitely returned. Unmasked Jones, new look, no music yet. We are now in a post-Cena WWE. Now, knowing what's going to happen next week, what happened this week, Tyler, how are you feeling about what will ultimately give us nearly the rest of the month in WWE?
Conflicted is the first word that comes to mind. Carmelo Hayes beating Ilya Dragunov, completely surprising and yet very gratifying. I was wondering what would become of the Last Time Is Now tournament for all the people not named the ring general. So Gunther gets the rub at the end. You and I thought that was probably the way to the person to go with. We predicted that here on the podcast. We turned out to be right. Gunther's in for a big 2026, as he should be. I would argue he should be a pillar of this new era, if we're going to call it that, of WWE. But what
older
about?
Than I thought too. Had no idea he was 38.
Oh, sure, yeah, he's
or 39.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Wow. Okay. Well, that stat just reinforces the need to build younger talent. And Carmelo Hayes, I think Carmelo Hayes is about 30 as well. I'm not saying 30 is old by any means to our listeners, but in terms of who are those new faces, the new talent that you can really invest in, I'm glad that Carmelo Hayes, although he was in the Last Time Is Now tournament for a good time, not a long time, clearly the fan reaction to him and the support online is not going unnoticed. So he beats, as you point out in the spoilers here, he beats Ilya Dragunov to become the new U.S. champion. Beating Ilya, a huge look. I didn't think Ilya was losing until, I don't know, maybe the summer. The way he came back and the new look and the tattoo, it just seemed like it was giving, oh man, this guy's going to go on like a 6-month reign, here in the mid card. But Carmelo Hayes getting that win, especially who he got it against. I know we haven't seen it yet, but like you said, we read the spoilers. That's a big look. So that an example like that gives me hope. What could be a Jade run with the title? We know she has the title, but what could be of that dominant run? I'm excited. We know my thoughts on Steph Faker. It's difficult for me to be objective. Anything with her, we know this. But then there are other examples where what does a post-Cena world look like? I'm even thinking, what is a post-Roman Reigns? I don't mean to rush us there, but what's it going to be like when these hallmarks hang it up or aren't around as much, even though many are on a part-time schedule now? So I believe there are reasons to be excited. The sheer existence of Obafemi leaves me very excited. I think he's going to come up to the main roster in 2026. But then you have other storylines, like you mentioned earlier, that either have dragged on or just aren't interesting. The vision right now is in a fascinating place to me. Okay, Austin Theory's back, but I don't know that I've been invested in Austin Theory since maybe he was the goofy muscle in the way with Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, and Johnny Gargano years ago. I think that was even pandemic era. Mm-hmm. So I want to be encouraged, but like you said, Brad, I mean, WWE, we shared this on the podcast. WWE came to town just a few weeks ago in Glendale, and you and I weren't moved to go at all. The closest we got was my dad driving to the Fry's grocery store across the street to get a picture with Bailey and to buy some Wheatley American vodka. That was our experience this time with Raw, where in years past, as recently as last year, we said, oh, shoot, Raw's coming to town. We got to go. You and the fam, drove 2 hours up here. My dad and I made it to Westgate to meet y'all. So to me, that just speaks to how much has changed. Reasons to be encouraged for sure. But in this post-Cena world, what do we have to look forward to? If the answer is the Vision, Brock Lesnar, Logan Paul definitely being featured prominently at WrestleMania, maybe even winning his first world title at WrestleMania against like a CM Punk. I certainly hope I'm not putting this in the ether to then become real, but I just think we're going to see a lot of that in 2026. And those are the stories that right now, and probably 3 or 4 months from now, I have zero interest in, along with the experience of when we turn on the PLEs, it's just advertisement city.
Oh my gosh.
And I get we got to make our bread, but you've been very clear about your feelings on this, and I want to kick it to you. When we turn on a PLE, when we watch Survivor Series and it's a 3-hour show and there are only 4 matches and the in-ring time totals,
they're like 20 minutes long, if even.
Right. Sans the actual War Games matches. Right. And the rest of it, we're just doubling up on ad time and in Riyadh we trust, and it's just like that's another part of the viewing experience right now that I continue to not love. So overall, I am certainly less positive heading into 2026 as a WWE fan than I've been in years past. But I would be remiss if I didn't say whether it's the Carmelo Hayes victory or the potential of Stephanie Vaquer, her title run really heating up. Obafemi, I think there are reasons to be optimistic. I just don't have much faith at all that WWE is going to do the things I want to see. And frankly, Brad, if I can just quickly add, I don't know that I mentioned this last week with Mike. I meant to, and I was mad after we got recording that I didn't say this. The Paul Levesque potential heel turn here. He has been beloved. He's been a beloved figure in the wrestling community for several years. I mean, he was seen as Booker of the Year. He was seen as the Oracle, as being next up. We boot Vince McMahon. We yeet him into the sun. And then Triple H is here, and we all are excited. It also seems like now we're entering a new era with him where if Saturday Night's Main Event is any indication, that crowd in DC booed him like Inglewood booed Hulk Hogan during the Raw Netflix premiere. And that is still jarring to me. So what direction does Paul Levesque take? Does he do the David Stern at the NBA draft? Fans are booing and he just encourages it and leans into being a public heel? Or does he try to get back some goodwill? I'm also really intrigued by that storyline on camera and off camera as well. I said a lot of words. What say you?
It's interesting you said that part because I think, I guess I agree with everything you said. I'll keep mine brief.
That's a good answer.
I think
I love that very much.
I feel conflicted mostly because the talent that they're starting to, it feels like they're pushing, including Austin Theory, who gets a win over Rey Mysterio. More spoilers. I think for that, for the youth that are being pushed, I think that's really positive going forward. Bayley has hinted at future steps and things like that more times than not. I don't know if that means within the WWE or elsewhere. I'm sure she'd love to team back up with Sasha and become Mercedes Moné, and I don't know what her name was before she was Bayley, if she had one or if she'd just go by her shoot name.
I think she was it Davina Rose in the past?
I don't know if she'd go by that or not. That would be dope. Doesn't make sense for her, but not now. Davina Rose is just too dainty sounding for Bayley. But I don't know what she would do. But anyway, I digress. She and Charlotte and even Alexa Bliss, there's a lot of talent that have been there for a long time that are, I don't know where they are in their career. I don't know a lot of who's the longest tenured, I guess, female wrestler that you can think of in the US. I don't know Natalia? A lot of wrestlers. I was going to say Natalia is probably the only one I can think of. I don't know who it is. I don't have an answer for you, but the point is there's not a lot of people that you see going AJ Styles length that are, women. I just don't see female wrestlers in WWE going into their late 40s and having prominent spots. And I don't know if that's a physical problem or if that's just the other physical problem that the executives might have. And the closest I think I'm trying to think of anything like WWE, AEW, Serena Deeb. I got nothing. Outside of like guest appearance and stuff, like Trish Stratus doing a little bit of a run, stuff like that. But I just feel like late 30s may as well be 100 years old if you're a female talent in WWE historically. I hope I'm wrong. And because like Natty can clearly still go, and she's awesome if they let her be Natty instead of whatever they've had her doing. I think what they've let her do now, especially working in other promotions, versus what they had her doing up to that point, or she'd be like a surprise entrance somewhere. Give us that. We want that. That's new and fresh and awesome. We need that. I think if you have young, amazing talent that will get you so far, and there's only so much goodwill that you can get from an audience. And it kind of feels like right now WWE's plan is spam us, and we'll put our content everywhere so that you have no choice but to see us, even if you're not looking for us. And that way you'll go like, oh, this must be really good. Because if you just kind of like a pickup game, like you don't need to know what happened in the previous game. You can just pick up and go. And I think that's the menu they're trying to provide, is anybody can jump in at any point, rather than like, oh man, this story is going back a couple of months. Because like if you're a brand new viewer of AEW last week, this AEW MJF return, that's either the coolest thing you've ever seen or confusing because of the references he made in his promo. Now, my guess is, oh, this is a big deal and I need to tune in here. But WWE needs to do more of those things, not rely on the entrance pop, but rely on the storytelling long term, and make sure everybody that's involved is committed if they're a celebrity or we're a wrestler that are now a celebrity from outside of the business. I think that if they could do that, everything will be fine. And then the booking will take care of itself. But until then, right now, it just feels lazy and boring and a waste for what the talent can put out there, the art they can give us versus the money they can get. Ultimately, it's a job, and that's more important for them than anything else. And I get that part. For a viewable product for everybody else, if it's the longest running television program and you want me to keep tuning in, you got to give me something new. You just have to.
Exactly.
And that's that. And those are my concerns.
And when the crutches are removed of, okay, we know fans are going to be tuned in because this is John Cena's last year, or because in years past, the Bloodline, right? Like you have these seminal once in a generation storylines in the case of the Bloodline, or once in a generation moment of John Cena retiring, or when AJ decides to hang it up, or, we know these moments that are forthcoming. Yeah. What are those other storylines? Who are those new faces and names that you can mold into becoming household? And what leads me to feel conflicted, Brad, in conclusion, is Saturday night's main event. Although you and I felt a way about how the John Cena retirement played out, on that same card, you had an Obafemi spotlighted. You had Javon Evans. I mean, Leon Slater, I didn't expect this. He won the #1 contenders match on NXT, and he's challenging Obafemi for the title at New Year's Eve.
He earned it after that performance, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Brad, I don't know if you heard me say this. I'm right 10% of the time. I have been on Leon's.
Yes, you have.
I have been saying Leon Slater is that dude. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And WWE clearly doing everything they can to try to persuade him to sign there. It's amazing. The courting going on for Leon Slater within WWE, which is very smart, is just so apparent. But okay, you had Leon Slater at Saturday night's main event. And let's also not forget Javon Evans. You mentioned that John Cena interview with Cody Rhodes at the Nightmare Factory for Cody Rhodes' What Do You Want to Talk About podcast. John Cena even mentioned Javon Evans. And Javon Evans is the ripe age of 21. I mean, I was just trying to turn in assignments on time and just
I was eating frozen pizza and not exercising.
I was a resident assistant at U of A. Yeah. Frozen pizza. Exactly. I was just trying to figure out how to get a ride to Safeway down the street near Broadway, near campus. Javon Evans is 21. Sol Ruka was on Saturday night's main event. And I mean, you have these people. This is my very last thought. You have these people that I just mentioned that you've brought up before, who aren't just the future, but in 2026, although I don't have a lot of confidence at the moment, they are the now. Why not bring them up and put a title on them imminently? Not, I get there's a point in, okay, we bring Roxanne up. There's not a point in her losing as much as she has, but we're going to put her with this faction. She's going to be on TV every week. I see the value in that, minus the perpetual losses. But gosh, when it's a Sol Ruca, when it's a Javon Evans, I would argue when it's a Roxanne, have them come up and be the now. Have the main event of PLE now. We don't need to wait. We don't need to cast them aside because Brock Lesnar needs his moment or because Logan Paul needs this shine because he's a big star on the internet. These superstars are incredible, and I would just hope in 2026 we put them in those positions because they're not just the future; they are the now. Just like Obafemi told Cody Rhodes to his face.
I think my final thought here is, in fairness to WWE, I don't think that they've been lazy with the matches themselves. I think they've given us some really good moments and some really good, wrestling content. Shout out to the people that put those together, the producers in the matches, the talent themselves, and then just having everybody be prepared. The Leon Slater moment might be my favorite moment of the year, just because it's like one of those things that if you've been watching for a long time and you understand it's scripted, to see an unscripted moment go down like that and have them be so in character and in the moment to recognize, no, this is a match. What would I do in a match at all times? Like trying to win the match, that dude rolling over and pinning AJ. Brilliant.
Because that's also 20, 21, 22. I think him and Javon Evans are the same age. I mean, it's just.
Yes, it was one of the most impressive things I've seen all year. But the AJ top rope catch into the Styles Clash in that tag match, there's moments like that have happened all year that is stuff that we've never seen. And then you have something like the shart that was the women's War Games match, of just being just lazy. It's like, how do you bleep up with that in the ring? How do you make that something that I could have missed all of that? And it's all of the talent that were in that. I was so mad about that one in particular because I freaking love women's wrestling. And to do that, I was just like, they looked like they didn't want to be there. They looked like they knew it sucked at the end. Not the match itself. It was just very like, it was a match in a big cage. It didn't feel like War Games. It felt like games. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And when Lash Legend came out, it seemed like San Diego was asking a collective, "Who is this again?" And to your point, that goes back to how are the wrestlers presented? What's the creative for them? I mean, these should be big moments.
Yeah,
War Games, and we've had an issue with this for AEW Blood and Guts in the past. Mm-hmm. This should be the culmination of stories. Yeah. This should be
at the start of the continuation.
Such a bitter rivalry that it can only be solved by fighting War Games. And in WWE's case last month, it just seemed like, granted, injuries happen that are unexpected, namely Seth Rollins, but it just seemed like the care and the time wasn't put in because we know that if folks are aware this is John Cena's second to last match, if X, Y, and Z, we know people are going to buy tickets. We know this is going to be a net positive revenue-wise. Even though as fans we're like, wait, but this was not a great show. There's been a lot of that this year in WWE.
Yeah. And I think to your point with the matches and the blow-offs and having that match have to matter, I always go back to, because shout out to Mick Foley this week. He was in my What Did We Miss, but I'm going to get to it now.
Let's talk about it.
Mad respect for Mick Foley. Mick Foley's most famous moment in match is far and away not even close to the Hell in a Cell match. He said as much, even though he's like, I did other stuff, and it was all really good, by the way. He was amazing in the ring. That match, that Hell in the Cell match, happened because that feud had been ongoing for like 5 or 6 years of Undertaker versus Mankind in the boiler room. Out of the ring, is like Mankind was the threat to the Undertaker that the Undertaker had not seen yet. Like that was the thing. It was just like, why can't this dude beat Mankind? So that thing at the end where they're in Hell in a Cell makes all the sense in the world when they've done everything else. And it's like, this needs to stop. Put them in a cell or on a cell and off a cell, however you want to play that out. But that story made a ton of sense given their history together versus, I'm glad at least they got rid of it. Having Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view was always stupid. And it's all sold on the back of what Mick Foley and Undertaker did in that ring. It's having a Hell in a Cell needs to be a match that is, we've exhausted all other avenues and now we need to fight inside of a cage. No way out, no rules. It's the culmination of that story, right? Was it Hell in a Cell with Vince McMahon and Stone Cold, or just a cage match? I can't remember. I think it might have been a cage match
I think it was
where
a cage match.
Paul White debuted as Big Show through the
Right.
floor, but like tossed Austin against the cage, and that broke the cage, and he swung out for the win.
It's a classic moment.
Yeah, great stuff. But like that feud again necessitated it being there, and it also felt like we, as fans, were like, oh, finally, he can't run away this time. He can't get the goons involved. He's stuck in there, and then the friggin' giant comes out of the floor, which was awesome. So give us the storylines we need, and I think part of it too is, God, I miss Bray Wyatt. I just miss Bray Wyatt, man. If not just for his presence and his person, the storytelling that came out of that was so different that I think it covered up a lot of the holes with the other storytelling, and having that new different thing was always compelling, and they're lacking that element right now. I'm not saying we need supernatural spooky stuff. I'm just saying like we need something different, and it's a lot of one note, or like, Tyler, I love ice cream, like the pizza thing. You keep giving me vanilla and you're not putting sprinkles or something on it. Eventually I'm going to go find a different ice cream.
Well said. We were talking about this related to teaching.
Yeah.
What you just said, Brad, makes me think of, in summary, the value of taking risks.
Yeah.
Right? Bray Wyatt, I mean, he was synonymous with doing that. This is a little off the wall. This may be a little bit different, but let's try it and see what sticks. I think in 2025, there's been a lot of moments where I felt like WWE just is presenting a very sanitized product.
Yeah.
That I know is going to put them in the green. It's going to do well. Put them in the green. I think that's it. It's going to do well. It's going to make revenue, but it just is not an exciting creative experience for me. I know what's going to happen. I feel like I'm repeating Mike Steph's points from last week. You kind of know what's going to happen. You know where the storyline's going to end up. And your shout to the late and the great Bray Wyatt is so apropos, because he was synonymous for just taking risks. Just like during production meeting, we were reflecting on the semester. Yeah. You want students to take risks. Sometimes it's going to work out, sometimes it's not, but take a chance.
Failure is supposed to happen in the classroom. You're supposed to fail. You're supposed to fail. Yes. We learn from failure.
It's part of
You're
art.
Not supposed to fail in your grade, but like making mistakes that's the time to do it, when you have somebody to go, so here's your mistake, let's work through it, instead of it's just over. Because Bray Wyatt, to your point, not just creative risks. We got Uncle Howdy jumping onto LA Knight in a Mountain Dew match, like woof. But I don't see a lot.
I don't remember moments from years past all that well these days, but I vividly remember that. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And now the Wyatt Six are around, and they were certainly an important part of programming this week. I didn't even know there was a AAA show until a few hours before on Saturday. But even the Wyatt Six, the way they were presented, it's like, oh, this might be the new most fascinating storyline in wrestling.
Yep.
And then a year later, the Wyatt Six are on. Maybe I'll catch what happened on Twitter. I think
they dropped
there was some bad fumbling there. Yeah.
But there's also like, how do you keep these other people in these storylines when they're working AAA shows and they're doing combinations of tag team matches that aren't anything that's going on the main roster on that product with El Grande Americana, whatever the hell's going on there. People are working, and people have jobs, and people are getting to go do their thing. And again, I'll say that's great. That does not help the weekly television product. That does not help the audience understand what's going on. If I got to flip through 87 channels to find out what some rando is doing, that's my favorite wrestler that maybe isn't on the main roster, and then it turns out, that rando, it's friggin' Julia. Shout out to her getting a win. But like talking about screwing stuff up, I said it before. Julia made more sense than AEW, but maybe she'll go back there. Stranger things have happened, Tyler, and that is our segue. We need to play the music. We got to talk a couple of things, Stranger Things related. We'll briefly touch on that new teaser, but mostly I want to talk about Welcome to Derry. So play the music. Okay, Ty, they dropped a Volume 2 teaser. I'm so excited. check out our Volume 1 breakdown. It is on our playlist on YouTube, where you find your audio, and also on the Peelcast feed. We haven't dropped a Peelcast in a hot minute. I think that day is steadily approaching, Tyler, where we get back into Peelcast. I'm sure that will happen eventually. Until then, we're going to be talking Stranger Things. They dropped the Volume 2 trailer, teaser, whatever you want to call it, including several short clips with various characters doing various things. And the big takeaway is everything we knew about the Upside Down was wrong. And I have several theories about this. I'll try to go rapid fire, and I'll kick it to you and what you have thoughts. I don't know if you have thoughts or not, but the Upside Down wall circle, you need 12 kids. That's a clock. There was clearly a wormhole that Will drew on the wall. Teacher talking about wormholes in middle school. That makes sense. We have all of this stuff that points at time travel, or at least bending space and time, which would explain why the Upside Down is locked into that single day. But we have like 4 worlds we've visited so far, maybe 5 if you want to count the difference in the one we've already seen. So we have Dimension X. That's where we saw Henry get sent to initially, had a yellow sky. We have the Upside Down. We have the world that we've lived in. And then we have Vecna's mind times 2. There's the Vecna's mind with the disassembled Creel house. It's not actually the Upside Down. It's just Vecna's mind. And then you have, at least I think, it was very nebulous how that worked. And then we have the other Vecna's mind from season 5, where it's like the nice house in the woods and all that stuff. But needing 12 kids to create a clock, Back to the Future, A Wrinkle in Time. We got all these references in there that are screaming time travel. For my sanity, I really effing hope it's not time travel. Unless it's time travel that only fits this thing. They're not going to do an endgame situation. They're just going to acknowledge that they've traveled through time and not actually have to do it. I'm really scared that we're going to end up doing like a time travel thing that undoes the entire story, so that we're left with like all happy endings for everybody. Yay. But like the entirety of the 5 seasons didn't matter. That makes me crazy when shows do that, because I feel like it's super lazy. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm a little scared. I don't know. Before I talk, Derry, give me your thoughts. What are your thoughts about the teaser, about everything?
Yeah, well, my dad once said, a great man knows his limitations. You are so deep in your Stranger Things bag that I just enjoy kicking back and listening. That is so much more eloquent than what I was going to provide. I just watched the teaser you sent me and thought, cool, I'm hooked. I can't wait for us to record our thoughts post-Christmas to talk about Volume 2. Your execution of that was just fantastic, man. I don't mean to put you over for an extended period here. You don't need me to do that, but
you can.
Yeah, the clock of it all, the time travel, the 12 kids, the Vecna, the mind flare, and like you said, all of this is being positioned around what you thought you knew about the Upside Down. You again, this was the Nikki Bella psych. You played yourself.
Yeah,
I can't wait for it. I'm excited for us to check this out on Christmas, and then like we said earlier, next week I'll have a Stranger Things recap and review episode. I'm locked in. You got me hooked.
I can't wait. Now, on that note, everybody, if you've seen It, part 1, part 2, chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever it was called, I think it was this. There were chapters. I think it was It, and then It chapter 2. We were discussing in the production meeting chapter 2's limitations. Now, I really enjoy the movie still, but it's just so different from chapter 1 that it made it less enjoyable because of what I knew chapter 1 was and what it could be. Not that I didn't enjoy the performances or anything like that. I just thought they leaned a little too into the comedy to break it up, where you can have it be funny. There was less funny and more funny haha in chapter 2. And I thought the vibes were a little bit weird, even though they did a good job with stakes. There also was like some throwaway stuff. I thought, I can't remember the kid's name, the one that was like just the psycho with the mullet and the knife. That kid becoming like, being Looney Tunes and being in the asylum and then getting out later on again and getting his knife back to carve up the adults. I just thought that whole thing felt, I don't know, rushed, forced. I don't know what it added in chapter 2. Where chapter 1 he had earned hate. By chapter 2, I was like, don't really care. But it gave us a few moments. Welcome to Derry. If you like Stranger Things, you probably liked it chapter 1. If you want to take what Stranger Things is with the kids and ramp it up to a more violent level, that's basically it. Make it rated R and make you have to watch terrible things. And Welcome to Derry is all the best parts of Stranger Things and all the best parts of the actors in Stranger Things, all the best parts of It Chapter 1, which coincidentally has actors from Stranger Things. Too many Mikes. There's Mike, the character in It, and there's Mike, played by Finn, who is in Stranger Things, but is a different character entirely. He's Rich in It Chapter 1. So it's very strange. No pun intended there. It is such a great show. Welcome to Derry makes you have to wait, makes you earn the reveal for Pennywise finally appearing on our screens. It is not right away, but he's ever present. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of surprises, but the storytelling is incredibly compelling. It is beautifully shot. The actors are incredible. That cast is loaded. I am predicting several Emmy Awards for this show, at least nominations. Bill Skarsgård not getting an Emmy nom will be a criminal thing. I think horror gets overlooked a lot of the times. I know Silence of the Lambs is like the only horror movie to ever win an Academy Award for acting or for Best Picture, whatever it was, maybe both. I think this show, while it's not perfect, it is as close to it as it could possibly be. The balance between horror and comedy, because there's parts where you do laugh. They're not shying away from that. It's funny and absurd, but it's also so dark that you kind of laugh, you cringe laugh, you horror laugh. It is absolutely worth your time. If you were on break and you can hide it from the littles, if you got them around, you got to watch this show. It is amazing. Binge watch at your own risk. I had a hard time falling asleep when I did it, but maybe just don't take Benadryl and then binge watch. That's pretty much where I was. So it is great. It is definitely one of the best shows of the year. It is one of the best horror related things I think ever produced, especially as a TV show or a series. I can't say enough about how great it is. Please go check it out.
Well, something that I hope is great is AEW Worlds End. I am very optimistic for this show, Brad, in large part due to what we saw in AEW programming last week. So let's go ahead and roll right into it. AEW Worlds End is taking place in Chicago on Saturday from the Now Arena. I'm sure we'll get about 10,000 fans strong in the venue. MJF is back. The Dynamite promo. Before I ask for your predictions of this show, Brad, what did you make of MJF not only returning, but the promo and how overnight I think he's become the favorite to leave Chi-Town with the AEW Men's World Championship? Let's start with Max.
He needs to win. That's the short answer is MJF needs that belt again. It's always better when he has it versus when he's chasing, because he makes everybody else miserable. And I love that. I always think it's silly when he's making people miserable that have the title and he makes the title holders jump through hoops. That never makes sense to me when that happens, but I love when he has it. And it's like, you can wrestle me, but you're going to have to do all of these things in order to wrestle me. It's the only way it's going to work. And I got it signed off by Tony Khan and my lawyers got involved. And I love all the just schmarmy heel stuff he does. The promo was incredible. It was so good. Will Swerve recover? Because he tried to match and it was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
He kind of got gobbled up there.
I think he was about to respond to the mic. They just put it down. Like, I think Max is just in his bag here, and we're just gonna let Max ride this out.
Yeah, I think it.
Compared him to Diddy, the baby oil, the
WWE run, like
the WWE run.
all the
a less
references.
a less than adequate rapper.
Yeah.
It was tough, man. He came for everybody. Seabiscuit for Hangman.
Yelling at Samoa
Samoa Joe
Joe.
is probably the weakest because, like, we know MJF. He called out Samoa Joe's hairline when we
Yeah.
know
I mean,
MJF got the John Cena hair transplant. So it's like,
yeah.
Max, you know I'm sensitive about this topic, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Don't make me turn on you. I'm very excited about your return. Don't be coming for us follically challenged individuals because
Max,
you, sir, were once that as well. But I hope
Max
you win
Brock,
this week, and I think you will.
I agree. Max Brock
It's gonna
Lesnar,
happen.
Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
You caught that, right? Like that was the exact same thing
Yeah.
that Samoa Joe did. I don't think it was
Right.
planned at all.
Yes.
But like, look at me when I'm talking to you. Because
Right.
Samoa Joe was looking around. I was like, ooh,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's Samoa Joe doing that to Brock Lesnar when he looked.
And the storylines between each of these individuals, AEW really does triple threats and four ways incredibly well. Those are some of my favorite matches, especially in AEW pay-per-view history. The fact that with these four guys, they have such history with each other individually. As you pointed out, Brad, as MJF ran down in the promo, he has not a lot, but a little bit of history with Swerve, certainly predating All Elite Wrestling. He has a storied history with Hangman. He lost
Right.
to Hangman, right, twice, most recently. And then he has history with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe beat him to become world champ 2 years ago at World's End. So the way this all came together, I was already stoked for the triple threat with no Max, but now we're inserting MJF, and he's not just an intriguing piece. I think he's leaving the show with the title.
I agree.
I'm in. I can't wait for this.
This whole card is loaded. I'm so excited for this. Like listen, man, the tag team match, the women's tag match is going to rule. I think Athena and Mercedes are walking away with gold over the Babes of Wrath.
For real.
I don't want them to, but I think that's what's going to happen there.
That's bold. Okay.
I think that Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter match is just going to hump. I think Stat retains, but
really? How do you feel about that as the number one Jamie Hayter fan in my life?
The match or the retaining?
Both.
Fine. I think it builds Stat. I think Hayter needs to be rebuilt. Like, I don't think her character needs to be touched, but she's just been doing whatever for so long that I don't feel like she's a viable threat, even though we know she's a former champ and that she's always a threat. It just doesn't feel like the right time for her unless she goes full heel here. Then I'd be fine with that. The Continental Classic matches, they're all going to be great. So I'm excited for that. I don't even care about anything else. That's just going to rule. I think this match or this night in particular usually has some surprises, right? But I don't know what surprises we're getting. I'm going to say Keith Lee every time.
I've added to my show notes, anytime there's an AEW pay-per-view, I need to ensure that I ask you, is this the show Keith Lee returns? Is this the one?
No.
Okay. Yeah,
at this point, no.
We want it to
be. If they hit that music, that place is going to go nuts.
Oh, gosh.
But I've also been thinking about who else could show up for this show. Who is,
which names?
I don't know. I was trying to think Chicago specifically. I don't think CM Punk's coming through that door. I think there's like, all the talent. I just don't like this to lower the tier. The talent that's not going to be on the main card, but everybody loves. Like, do we get an interjection of Danhausen at some point? Do we get like to remind people that he's alive and exists? Is there?
Can I interest you in some Cope and Cage?
I was the one that I was going to say is it's probably going to be that one, and it's probably going to be during a promo. Like, I feel like that let's go interrupt the promo. I don't know. And if that happens, is it FTR showing up saying we buried everybody, blah, blah, blah? Can I interest you in a brood entrance? Maybe they give him a brood bath, as WWE called it.
At some point, we need a Gangrel and Stokely interaction for sure.
Oh my God, yes.
And as of this recording, FTR doesn't have a match scheduled for Worlds End. They just defeated Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn on TV this past week. So I think right now, as of this recording, Brad, there are 6 matches if we include the Continental Classic bouts that are going to happen at World's End. So we know how this goes with AEW. Anywhere from 2 to 3 matches should be added by Showtime, and then of course we'll have 0 Hour as well, and probably get some familiar faces on there, Eddie Kingston and maybe some other people that'll be worth tuning in for. But I'm very optimistic, like you said, for all the reasons you mentioned, but namely because of this main event. I mean, Chris Stat versus Jamie Hayter is going to be exceptional. You mentioned women's tag. I got Babe Sarath winning that. This main event, though, I mean, I'm looking back at all the main events we've seen in AEW this year for pay-per-views, and I don't know the last one that has me as excited as this 4-way for the Men's World Championship, largely because, I mean, certainly the ingredients involved, but the element of suspense and surprise. I don't know who is winning this match.
Yeah.
I suspect it's MJF, but I genuinely don't know, which is the art of why we watch this industry, is that, hey, I'm tuning in for some great graps, but I don't know the outcome of the main event. I think this is exceptional how it all played out.
I will say that Will Ospreay was in attendance backstage this week.
Yes, Alex Windsor picked up the W.
But I don't think he's anywhere at all even close to coming back.
Yeah, he's not needed right now either, creatively. No.
The way they talked about his injuries and stuff, maybe we get a promo, if anything, but or a check-in or something. But I'm with you. I think it'll be some CNC. Maybe something else, maybe something I don't know, that's not in my mind. Maybe Jay White's ready to go. Maybe I don't know. I've been saying that for a year, because didn't he come back and get re-injured? I think that's what happened. So, man, he and Juice, like, just strings of bad luck. That Bullet Club Gold is cursed. Yeah. So I don't know.
Colton Gunn is out with injury right now.
It's
they added Ace Austin to the group, which is great. Yeah. But it's unfortunate that, I mean, kind of similar to Keith Lee, although Keith Lee's situation seems much more complicated. There are these moments of, oh, this is going to be big. This is going to be a signature part of programming, this talent or this group. And then it just appears to be snake bitten, sadly, particularly with Jay White. I mean, Adam Cole as well. What a just sad story it's been for Adam Cole. I mean, he's probably example number one of someone who's there, and this stop-start of, we just want all the performers to be okay. And in the case of Adam Cole, we know that unfortunately we may have seen the end of his career.
Yeah, and he said as much, that he got a gaming gift. Looked like an arcade game that had Adam Cole painted on the side of it. I can't remember what it was. I didn't pay all that much attention to it. I was listening to his words, which was like, this is the coolest gaming gift because I've had a really tough year and this brings me joy, and this is one of the coolest things. So, yeah, I'm just thinking of him.
Britt Baker as well.
I was going to say, I hope Adam Cole comes back and decides to do commentary. I think he would crush commentary.
It would be great.
I think he would be incredible, or just producing, whatever. I don't know if he wants to do that or not, but I think it would be great. But same Britt Baker, I hope it's not a health thing, because we know she had that scare for a long period of time, came back for a cup of coffee and then disappeared again.
Right.
And everything.
She had a stroke. She had a stroke before the age of 40. That's serious. Right.
Yeah. And I think everything around that time made us believe that it was like bad relationship stuff in the building. And I think it's probably just physical things. Like, same thing happened last time when she disappeared. I think she just doesn't want to have her business out there, but she's also like going on trips and taking pictures from places, and looks like she's healthy enough to live a normal life. And that's all we can hope for these people, and going from there. So, question for you. I'm going to just skip ahead. This is also a post-Cena week, and it was for AEW, who coincidentally, right on the heels of a post-Cena Saturday Night's Main Event, did a show across the pond, or several shows across the pond. Tyler, how are you feeling about what ultimately gave us wrong question. How do you think AEW's response to WWE's big week went?
So many questions. It went really well. Holiday, it was Dynamite Holiday Bash, a 3-hour extravaganza across the pond.
And then we got Dark.
I have not seen Dark yet, but I know it's on my YouTube, the Stocking Stuffer edition. Yep. Indeed. Yeah, I mean, not everything, and I don't know that you and I expect everything to land, regardless of the TV program.
Yeah.
You know, every single segment, every single match. I think of the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal, which ended up not being very, very good. But
Mhm.
the end game is Ricochet versus Bandito this week in a one-on-one match for that ring. So I can't complain too much. But overall, the Holiday Bash card was fantastic. By the time we got to that first match, right, we opened with Roddy Strong versus John Moxley. By
Mhm.
the way, I think the Death Rider is going to jump John Moxley out of the group
Agreed.
at World's End.
Agreed.
Just pencil that in for me.
Agreed.
Between that kicking off the night and then ultimately Pac defeating Kyle Fletcher. And although I am team Kyle Fletcher should not lose a match ever, for Pac to be the guy who defeats him, for that to be just an excellent choice, where I think it may have actually been close to the main event, but not the main event. That was phenomenal. The Elite returning in trios action. The Babes of Wrath, of course, got time. There's I'm sure a match I'm forgetting that was also exceptional here. The MJF promo was the story for me leaving.
Same.
For AEW, it wasn't just the excellent in-ring action that we expect, but it was the furthering of storylines. It was having a surprise on Dynamite, not just waiting to bring MJF back, let's say at the end of World's End. We just got that at Full Gear with Swerve returning, but to put that on a Dynamite and not just a return, but he's inserting himself in the main event and overnight has become the favorite to win that match. I thought it was a really smart move on AEW's part to not just give us the guarantee of good to excellent in-ring action, but to further stories, to include surprises in there. In terms of Collision, Kevin Knight defeats Okada. Alex Windsor defeats Mercedes Moné for the Rev Pro
An early collision,
Championship.
yeah.
Yeah, an early collision, early start time. Those are, I think that's how you get people reinvested in the product. Of
Right.
course, building younger talent. I mean, I sent a text message to George that I was like, bro, Kyle Fletcher and Megan Bain are going to be running this company at some point. Like
100%.
you just have those two just waiting,
Yep.
just ready. And you just have these younger talents, but then you also have these other names, especially these day ones like MJF, who are also firing on all cylinders. So I thought it was a really strong effort for AEW. And again, it's leading to World's End, which is the nature of the business. We put on weekly television to build for the main event so that fans will spend money and check out, the big shows on Saturdays or Sundays. I thought it was a really admirable effort and it furthered stories, and it has me as excited for a pay-per-view this Saturday as I've been all year, probably since Double or Nothing, which you, George, and I were all in the building for, which we'll save this for a later episode, but maybe my favorite show of the entire year in pro wrestling.
Same for me. I mean, biased because we were there, but also, yes, 100%.
It's aged incredibly well over the last
100%.
6 months.
Can't say enough about it. Yeah, I guess.
What did you think? Holiday Bash, Holiday Collision?
I thought it was spot on and what it needed to be. And I think it wasn't just because, sure, was everything perfect? No. But they did it in a massive venue with a lot of people. It felt like a big deal. And I think if you would have gone to, shout out to you once again. We're going to go watch some Dynamite at the Arizona Financial Theater. And I think if it would have been there and that was, we're on break, Cena just retired, maybe people were like, well, let me check out this other wrestling product that's on. You tune into that and it's the Financial Theater. You're probably going like, what is this? Why is it so small?
Shout out to AFT, but it's different. It does not hold 10,000 people.
No, but it's great. I can't wait. I actually love that venue. But it was I think the Jungle Boy entrance sold it for me. Jack Perry being a big deal again and just having Jungle, what is it? Tarzan Boy. I was like, Jungle Boy. That's the name of the kid. Tarzan Boy being played in the background and having the crowd just go bonkers for his entrance made it apparent that this is going to be a sustainable thing for him and that he didn't have to drop the scapegoat stuff. He could still have that song and still wear the dark clothes and come out and not have to go back to the silliness of Jungle Boy in Jurassic Express initially. I think he can hang on to the rest of that stuff and it'll work, but he's super young. He's super talented. There's bright future ahead for them. I thought they knocked it out of the park with this particular thing. I will say this. I wrote this note. Tony Schiavone, I love you. Production team, not ours. AEW. If you're hearing this,
thanks for clarifying.
just mute the audio at the same time the lights go out. That's all you got to do. Instead of relying on him clearly and obviously just stop talking in the middle of his sentence with the blackout. To be like, and I think next week, it sounds stupid. And it's like, why did he forget how to speak suddenly? Because the lights went out. Just cut his mic off. Just cut off his mic. And then you cut off the lights and you just go, you have whoever's calling the show, go. Then go. Yep. You just press the buttons. It's not hard. I know. I've done it. You just mute buttons there at the top. And then you unmute it when you're ready again. And that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And then what happens is it sounds good. And then MGF can come out to his music. Everybody knew. I don't know if there were rumors circulating or what. I wasn't really paying all that much attention. But the London crowd was chanting MJF in the dark. So they knew what was up. But that was so cool. Tightening up some of those little production things. It just makes all the difference in the world when you're trying to make people go like, yeah, this is a big deal. I'll save all my thoughts for a different time. That's not this. But I thought they did a great job. If they can clean up some of the production elements, because I still kind of want them to be a little messy, especially in commentary. I love the mess. I think they're as good as anybody. And I think other people that watch will realize how good they are.
Yeah. Big weekend ahead. I can't wait for your thoughts. I can't wait for our audience's thoughts. Let us know your World's End predictions. If you're watching us here on YouTube, drop us a comment. What are you excited for? Who is going to leave Chicago a winner? Also, let us know your WWE thoughts and literally anything and everything pro wrestling and pop culture related. We appreciate your support immensely. Brad, we are not done yet. Winter break is here. We've established
it is,
which means that we get to do all or most of the things that we don't during the school semester. So much so, in fact, that I saw one of the most critically acclaimed movies of 2025, and I want to tell you about it. It's time for GI at the movies. Hit the music.
And now, it's time for GI at the movies.
Brad, we got to discuss one battle after another. This came out in September. I can't believe it's been that long. It has reached a lot of the best of 2025 list for many critics across the country. It was incredibly entertaining. You may have heard of this director, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Of course.
He is the man behind One Battle After Another. You may have heard of his debut film all the way back in 1997, Boogie Nights. Have you seen Boogie Nights?
Yes, of course.
Okay, very good. As
big PTA fan from back in the day.
Yeah,
yes.
As have I. Maybe say Boogie Nights review for a different episode, different podcast maybe. So One Battle After Another. It's starring exceptional cast. We have Regina Hall. We have Leonardo DiCaprio. We have Benicio del Toro. Yeah, it's exceptional. So many names, so many talented people here.
So many names.
And this film is. First of all, it's about 2.5 hours. So I was already feeling away going into it. You know my thoughts. I don't think any movie should be that long these days. But this one actually nailed it. It really... I've been very clear about this. I've been consistent.
I know you have. I think
162 minutes.
I'm with you, yeah.
I just don't know that I need to watch a movie that long. But this film landed it. This movie follows a group of revolutionaries who are, in the beginning of the film, stationed at a migrant detention center near the Mexican border. And their purpose is basically to wreck shop and free all of the people in this detention center. And throughout the film, they're seen kind of having similar acts across the country. And in no short order, members of the crew get arrested. And it ends up being that Leonardo is, I forget his name in this film, I'll have to look that up. But the character he plays is one of the last people who does not get arrested. So the film basically then shoots to 15 years later and his life kind of living on the outskirts of society, still evading potentially being arrested for the crimes that he was involved with. The movie's also about his wife, played by the amazing Tiana Taylor, who was exceptional. She's around for about the first half of the film, and then we don't see her again. She's only referenced in character name or by her voice, which is one issue I have with the film. But overall, man, this was just an excellent excellent movie. I still have Sinners as my number one on my big board for 2025, but one battle after another is cracking the top 5. It may even be top 3 for me. Solid effort from PTA and company. Like I said, the cast is exceptional, and it has many surprises. So I'll try to save some spoilers, but the movie got progressively better. First 30 minutes, I was like, man, I don't know if all the hype was worth it, but it gets better as the film goes on, which is an incredible sign for a piece of art, that it gets better and you get more invested. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the film, frankly, I was like, shoot, I could hang on for another 10 to 15 minutes if they wanted to bring Tiana Taylor back. So Leo and company killed it. Shout out PTA. One battle after another. If you were on winter break, even if you're not on winter break, it is now streaming on HBO Max. So after you check out some of Welcome to Derry and get your horror fix, because I know Brad convinced you earlier, be sure to plot out 162 minutes of your time to watch One Battle After Another. It's worth it. It is quite simply one of the best films of the year.
Perfect. Can't wait. I saw that Christopher Nolan is trying to push for Sinners to get released on a limited run back in theaters. Only because he's actively upset that it's not getting enough Oscar buzz, and has recognized how good of a film it is. He's like, it's crazy that people aren't talking about it. And I just love that. I think there's this competition in our heads between filmmakers when they're like, no, we're all fans of film. We want to see good film. I want to see people make a film the way that they make a film. Did you ever see AI?
No.
It was Haley Joel Osment and Jude Law from, man, I can't remember, like 2000 something. So it was Stanley Kubrick's, but he didn't finish it. Steven Spielberg picked it up and finished it, which is why I don't think it really works all that well. There's stuff in it that's really good and stuff in it that really doesn't work. And I think there was moments where it was like Spielberg being Spielberg, but also Spielberg trying to be Kubrick, and then Kubrick, and it's just never really meshed. And I think it's good that we have all these different creators and different artists that are making different things. And on that note, I'm so pumped that Spielberg is doing another Alien movie. I don't know if you've seen this, but the trailer dropped. I cannot remember the name of it. It's the something, and it begins with the letter D. It's something day, Decision Day, or something like that. I can't remember. Spielberg, one moment. This is.
I was also I was looking up One Battle After. I was like, oh, I forgot. I missed the notes here. By the way, Disclosure Day. Leo's character is named Pat Calhoun / Rocket Man / Bob Ferguson. One Battle After Another. By the way,
amazing.
Show notes.
So I think like having a Spielberg movie come out is great, because we could have a Nolan movie come up or a PTA movie come out, and we get to see their particular. It's just like appreciating any. I can love music, but that artist I like and that artist I like, and I'm glad they're different. That's what makes life fun to live, right? Giving that variety. Take that to heart, WWE creative. Tyler, what did we miss?
I forgot to mention what did I miss in One Battle After Another? By the way, the revolutionary group, their name is French 75 in that film. I was also introduced to an actress who I was not familiar with. Her name is, get this, Brad, an incredible work name. I don't even know if this is her work name or not. Chase Infinity is the woman who played Willa Ferguson, Leo and Tiana Taylor's daughter in the film. Chase Infinity. Like, if Chase Infinity, Another World is the name of an NXT champion right now. But no, it's the name of the actress who did a phenomenal job in One Battle After Another. Shout out Chase Infinity. I think she's going to be one to keep an eye on for 2026 and beyond in film.
Sounds like a work name. Millie Bobby Brown. Also had no idea her middle name was Bonnie, not Bobby. She just changed it for Millie Bonnie Brown.
These stage names, I see you.
Yeah, and now it's Millie Bonnie Jovi, I guess.
I guess so. I hope 11 survives.
Bonnie Jovi was funny to me.
We'll see. More on Stranger Things next week. Okay, my final what did we miss notes. I already mentioned Leon Slater, so I will check that box. We are good. Okay, it was a big weekend for Netflix, as you mentioned, not only for Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, but Dave Chappelle had a surprise drop on Netflix. I am very conflicted about where I stand as a Dave Chappelle fan, or at least a former fan. He's a part of that Riyadh lineup who goes over there and performs. Even the content, and he addressed this because of course he did in this recent special Unstoppable on Netflix. His content in recent years discussing the transgender community and other jokes he's made. We're just in a really tenuous time with comedy. We really remain where we know comedians, we want them to push the limit, but also I think they hold a different responsibility than they did in years past with their content. I will say overall, this was one of the stronger Dave Chappelle specials that I've seen in years for Netflix. It may even be his best Netflix special that I've seen. Yeah, he reflects on Charlie Kirk, and
I did see that clip.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Yeah, floating around the internet. He reflects on a lot in the hour and 15 minutes that is this special. But I will say it was one of his strongest ones in years, maybe even the best on this particular platform. And then finally, Brad, we're going to stick with comedy. I don't know if you heard about this. Bowen Yang of Saturday Night Live fame has left.
Yeah.
This past weekend was his last episode.
So he announced it on Friday.
Yeah, he posted a very heartfelt message thanking SNL, the crew, the fans of the show for a great 6 seasons. And I am really excited to see what's next for him. I think he has a lot of talent, and I don't think we've heard the last of him by any means.
Well, no, he's got one of the highest rated and most listened to podcasts in the world. And
there you go.
I mean, he's been doing other projects. He was in Wicked.
It's time.
As a primary character, like I guess secondary character, supporting cast. But I think because he's friends with and colleagues with Ariana Grande because of those films, that was the one to go out with her. Shout out to that hilarious Home Alone sketch. Oh my gosh, I was dying laughing. Almost as violent as Welcome to Derry. What we missed, Welcome to Derry, man. I can't stay it enough. Just go watch it. It's like, stop what you're doing and go right now. If you made it this far, you don't have to listen to the rest of this pod. Go watch Welcome to Derry. You'll know if you can do it within the first episode because it's a lot. But holy crap, it's good. The Pistons continue to be great and continue to get ejected for no reason. I'm so mad. I don't know. There needs to be an investigation. It's speaking of investigations, we may as well have one in Chicago and find out why the Packers didn't have a bench for the O-line or a functional heater, or why Jordan Love took that helmet to helmet. It seemed like nobody cared. Fix your crap. I don't know what's going on in the sports. I don't know why everybody's out to get me. Michigan deserved it, but I don't know why everything is just hitting the fan all at once. Just all of it, just all at the same time. Stop ruining my vacation. That's it. That's all I got.
Counterpoint, at least the Arizona Wildcats are undefeated and still number 1 in the nation. Shout out to the men's team.
Yeah,
11-0. Let's go.
It is pretty incredible. Someday I'll go to McHale.
Tommy Lloyd, maybe this is the year, please. I hope so. We got to get you to McHale. I mean, come on now.
I'll bring Jabari.
You have a Wildcat in the home. Shout out, Jess. This has to happen. 2026.
Yeah.
Your year. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Hope so.
In the meantime, before we get to 2026, we want to thank you all once again.
We might if we keep going.
We just might. 2-hour episode. No, not this time.
No.
We appreciate you all hanging with us. Please be sure to follow us at GIPod19 for exclusive show updates and more. And we will see you next week for Stranger Things. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.